We need to talk about the Copa America final because this thing was an absolute disaster. So today I want to cover a couple different things, including what happened, who's to blame, and what this means for future U.S. events like the 2026 Men's World Cup or the 2028 Summer Olympics. But to set the scene a little bit, let me give you guys some context. So I was sitting at my house on Sunday night eating dinner when a friend texted me. He's a huge Argentina fan. He had flown into Miami for the night and spent north of $5,000 for himself and his family to see Lionel Messi in Argentina play in the Copa America final against Colombia. The text read, "Dude, this is chaos. Fans are jumping fences and fighting with cops. They aren't checking tickets and people are refusing to leave." Then videos started to emerge on social media, many of which I'm sure you guys have already seen. Cops were chasing down unpaid ticket holders, beating those who didn't comply with batons. Fans were causing thousands of dollars in damage, destroying the escalator in one of Hard Rock Stadium's private clubs. Security wasn't doing its normal checks for weapons or contraband, and several fans were even seen trying to sneak through the stadium's ventilation system. One of the world's biggest sporting events suddenly turned into a disaster. The match was delayed by 82 minutes. Players were seen leaving the locker room, trying to locate their families to help them enter the stadium safely. My friend and many others who paid thousands of dollars for tickets were denied entry, even though they had legitimate tickets, because the stadium was at capacity, and many others who ended up making it into the stadium couldn't even access their seats because the squatters refused to move. This experience is frustrating to many, including me, because it isn't an isolated event. The 2024 Copa America tournament has had many other problems too, like high ticket prices, leaving stadiums nowhere near capacity, including more than 20,000 open seats for USA's match against Uruguay in Kansas City earlier this month. Last week, Uruguayan players fought fans in the stands after stadium security failed to protect their families. Players have criticized field conditions, as many stadiums simply added natural grass over artificial turf just weeks before the tournament kicked off. TV camera angles were often wrong, even going out of sync with the audio feed during Sunday's final. And that's without even mentioning that the matches were played on the smallest pitch size permitted for international fixtures, because NFL stadium configurations don't offer enough room for the typical international pitch. Here's a good example where Kansas City provides virtually no room for corner kicks before the pitch runs up against the track. The totality of problems has become increasingly frustrating. This is only the second time that the United States has hosted Copa America, and I already see people saying that it proves that America isn't ready to host larger events like the 2026 FIFA World Cup. However, much of that anger is misplaced, and America is really only part of the problem. It's important to note that Copa America is a South American tournament. Founded 108 years ago and formerly known as the South American Football Championship, Copa America is run by CONMEBOL, the South American Football Confederation. This is a critical distinction because CONMEBOL is an entirely different organization than CONCACAF, one of FIFA's other 5 governing bodies and the organization responsible for overseeing the United States and 40 other countries. I tell you this because the United States is not a regular participant in Copa America. In fact, the United States has only participated in the tournament 5 times, with the country's first appearance happening in 1993 and its latest happening this year in 2024. That's more appearances than other CONCACAF nations, including Panama at 2 and Canada at 1, but it's also less than fellow CONCACAF nation Mexico at 11, and significantly fewer than other CONMEBOL countries like Uruguay at 46 and Argentina at 44. The truth is that the United States was only selected to host this tournament in 2024 because Ecuador declined its turn in the host rotation order. This led to the announcement of a, quote, strategic partnership between CONCACAF and CONMEBOL, which included naming the United States as host for the 2024 Copa America tournament and 6 guest qualifying spots for CONCACAF teams. This sounded like a good plan at the time. I mean, 2 of football's governing bodies were teaming up to expand the game. Who doesn't want that? However, it ended up being a terrible idea, mainly because it wasn't really a partnership at all, at least not from the United States' point of view. CONMEBOL will say they worked on the tournament with CONCACAF and MLS's for-profit marketing arm, Soccer United Marketing. And that's true to some extent. But CONMEBOL controlled everything important, including match day operations, security, ticket sales, and more, while outsourcing non-critical things like sponsorship sales. This is precisely why Sunday night's final was such a disaster. For example, not only did CONMEBOL fail to secure necessary on-ground resources, i.e. Miami police officers, but they didn't even set up multiple perimeters, like most U.S. sporting events, which include numerous ticket checkpoints starting hundreds of yards away from the venue. Think about it this way. The United States hosts millions of fans at sporting events nearly every weekend throughout the year, and Hard Rock Stadium, specifically, has hosted some of the country's most attended events, including the Super Bowl, college football playoff, NFL games, NCAA football games, F1 races, concerts, and more. So, considering nothing like this has ever happened before, is it more likely that Hard Rock Stadium and Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte messed up by abandoning their normal, successful process, or that CONMEBOL didn't correctly do its job? That's not to say that CONCACAF and the broader United States sports ecosystem don't deserve some blame. Any intelligent person knows that you shouldn't put your reputation on the line for something that you don't truly control. And 99% of sports fans will simply blame the United States and its governing bodies without looking into it. I just wish that more people would call this exactly what it was: a cash grab by South America's football governing body at the direct expense of America's reputation. CONMEBOL will brag about how more people attended Copa America matches than Euro matches, conveniently leaving out the fact that most Copa America matches were played in NFL stadiums, and dynamic pricing made it so families were priced out of attendance, lowering the capacity percentage well below what we saw at Euro 2024. The good news, though, is that these problems aren't a concern for future events. FIFA will run point on the World Cup in 2026, an organization that undoubtedly has problems, but has proven its ability to host large-scale events, including recent events in regions that are not nearly as developed as the United States, including Brazil, Qatar, and other places like that. I have also personally seen some of FIFA's logistical plans. Not only did these conversations happen much earlier in the process than they did with Copa America, but FIFA has also been more transparent in its communication, showing a willingness to work with host venues to keep fans safe and entertained throughout the tournament. So go ahead and blame the United States and CONCACAF if you want. They certainly deserve some blame, and playing Monday morning quarterback is essential for improvement. However, in my experience, much of the chaos falls at the feet of CONMEBOL, and there is no indication that the United States isn't ready for the 2026 Men's World Cup.
Get ready for the greatest FIFA World Cup ever.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy it, please subscribe to the channel. I make weekly videos breaking down the business and money behind sports.